Welcome to GrayPrimer, a weekly show that's mostly about miniatures. My name is Nick, I'm your host, and in this episode I'm wrapping up Japan July. It's been a month-long series where I've been looking at a whole bunch of different Japanese model kits, and it culminates with this one from Bandai. It's a master grade Alex, and it's huge! Or to be more accurate, it's a Bandai Master Grade RX-78 NT-1 Gundam NT-1 EFSF prototype mobile suit for a new type in 1/100 scale, called Alex. And it's not just that this is a 1/100 scale that makes it interesting, it's certainly going to be bigger than the other Gundams I've made to date. What makes this really interesting for me is you can have it as a standard Gundam, or you can put an exoskeleton over that, you can put armor on top of the exoskeleton. I think this is going to be pretty special. And I can't wait to get this unboxed and built. It is a huge box. It feels like it's jammed full of plastic. I can't wait to get into it. Back in a sec. The size of this box alone is just insane. It's twice the size of a real grade box. There you go. The art on the front is just beautiful. I wish it wasn't quite so reflective so I could show you it better. But it is just so cool looking. And what I love about this is it's drawn from the perspective of somebody standing on the ground. Somebody standing beside the toes of one of these huge feet looking up at this towering thing that's just sort of smashing around. It looks to me like it's smashing the head off some Zaku over on the side here. But it is just remarkable. You can see some great images on the side. You can see the articulation on this. And this is a 1/100 scale too. I have no idea how that's going to look in comparison to the other Gundams that I've done. But I'm seeing a ton of accessorization in this box. No transformation sequence. Not that I would attempt it anyway. But there are multiple versions of how you can display this model. You can have it, as a standard Gundam. You can have it with its full-on Chobham Armour. And you can have it with the skeleton version of that armor too. And I think that's just so clever. Okay, let's have a look at my first master grade. Pop! I was half expecting there to be space in this box, considering just how large it is, and I was thinking, how could they possibly have all of this as plastic? But all of this is plastic. It is right up to the very top there. These baggies are super reflective, so I'm going to take everything out of the bags and just stack it up for you here. Give me 1 minute. I have no idea how many sprues are here, but this is a phenomenal amount of plastic for just one kit. I'm blown away by this. I truly am. This is going to be an epic build. And I'm so excited to get started. A lot less polycaps than I thought there would be. And significantly fewer self-adhesive decals than I got with the real grade from the last episode. But there are mystery things here. I don't know what these are. They were in a little yellow envelope along with the other decals, so I'm not sure what that fabric is or what that's for, but I'm sure I'll find out. And then there are some shiny decals there too. And then into the manual itself, it's pretty much a magazine. This thing is oh, look at that detail in the middle there. Oh, that's cool. Oh, that's really neat. Great color guide there for it as well. Do you get these little figures in it too? So that'd be interesting. I don't want to wait any longer. This is my first 1/100 scale Gundam. This is the master grade, like it says here, the RX-78 NT-1 Gundam NT-1 version 2.0. I'm just going to call him Alex and keep it simple. I will be right back. So here it is. There's a lot on the table. I'll give you a breakdown of what all of that is. Got the big old Gundam, got his shield, spare hands here and here, some weapons, a huge bazooka. Over here in each of these tubs, this is where we'll get into the exoskeleton, which goes around the outside of like legs, arms, and torso. And then the armor plates, which affix to that exoskeleton. And this is what makes this one so special, is that it's pretty much got 3 different modes you can display this in, and probably a lot of gray bits in between where you could have it like with partial armor showing or partial exoskeleton. It's up to you. And yeah, I have it in these separate tubs because it's like left leg, left arm, and then torso, and then right leg and arm. But that was so I don't get completely lost when I'm showing the different modes this thing goes into. You also get a few human miniatures with it, just to give you an idea of just how tiny they are by comparison. But let's look at, this is a 1/100 scale human. Let's look at it against a 1/144. So there's a significant increase in the size of the human there. Gives you an idea of just how big these things get. This probably is a clear indication because this is a normal Gundam, a 1/144 scale, high grade, and it just comes up past the waist of the 1/100 scale master grade. Okay, articulation wise, this feels very much up there with the real grades. There's a huge amount going on when you flex like legs and arms and stuff. You can see the different moving components. You've got ankles which swing to the sides as well as obviously front and back. You've got independently moving parts of the feet there with the toes, and the heel I think moves as well. Yeah, pretty sure it does. You can see all the jet exhausts for all the propulsion systems. You've got these flexible skirts. The arms, move quite a lot. There's a lot of rotation there. The head moves in a really nice way. It gets there's a lot of articulation within that neck joint, which I really appreciate. It feels like I can get this into whatever pose I want. Hidden inside these arms are some pretty cool things. There's a Gatling gun on either side there, just tucked in. There's a little handshake surprise. And then under here, if I can get this open, you can actually see the pilot tucked away inside here in relative safety. But a really solid Gundam. Great articulation. Like I say, feels like the real grade. But unlike the real grade, when I'm moving the legs and arms around, it doesn't feel like things are going to spring off. Maybe that's just the additional size of this. It just allows it to be a little bit more solid. Let's have a quick look at the shield. I like the way Alex has written across this. So much of Gundam feels very industrial and machine. There's a lot of like warning symbols and things like that. This feels just a little bit more personalized, a little bit more human almost, that someone has gone up there with a spray can and sprayed the name Alex across it. You've got this section which pops out like this within the shield, which has got really cool articulation behind the scenes, and a little grip handle here which moves around for the Gundam to hold on to. And of course you've got hands and things like this with the open palm that would allow you to grip onto that part of the shield. Pretty amazing looking bazooka here too. I'm not sure how much articulation there is with this. I think it might fold down. Yeah, so the handle folds down. There's also a little grip or something at the side, or a little peg maybe for attaching it to the back of the Gundam. Because if you flip this dude over, yes indeed, he can have the bazooka right across his back there. Which is, yeah, that looks pretty cool. That just pops out, folds down, and it's ready to be used in the hand. And then finally, weapons-wise, we've got this really cool assault rifle. And yeah, of course it's got a removable magazine. Why would it not? Like, how neat is that? And it just clicks into place so solidly. And I don't think that's the last of the weapons. Oh yeah, you can pop these dudes out here at the back. These actually connect into little beams. And you can quickly make those into a pair of beam sabers. So it's kind of clever that this part is just stored at the back, just above the backpack. A nice little nod to the show that this guy features in. See that perfect headpiece? You can actually take that off and replace it with this damaged one, just to replicate the damage that he suffered in the show. Really neat. The only piece that I actually had fully fitted and then removed because it just wasn't working for me was up inside these arm joints. You get these pieces here, these plastic crinkly pieces to replicate like the fabric which covers this part of the arms inside. I just didn't like it. I found that when it was connected using those, I wasn't getting a really clean arm connection, and that the arms had a tendency to just fall out, especially when I was rotating them. And once I removed these plastic things, which in all honesty, you can barely see, once I'd removed those, the arm joints were much more solid. I was getting much better purchase inside with the connectors. So for me, that part of it just didn't work out so well. So I just left them out. All right, I am going to get the exoskeleton on and then get some armor onto it as well. I will definitely be needing to refer to the manual for this because, yeah, many parts. So let's get it done. So that's the exoskeleton fully on, and the only part there which gave me any sort of problem was around these skirts, but with the second one I realized it was easier just to pull that part of skirt out and do it away from the Gundam. But you can see a lot of additional bulk now in place. You got more thrusters around the underneath the backpack here. And there were certain areas where I had to open up part of the Gundam to get something to fit. Like with the backpack, there's a little door which I was able to just click up. And that allows you to put the piece in there. It just slots in neatly inside that. And then you've got this nice additional little door at the front here, I guess. I don't really know what that's for. Maybe a hatch or something here for the pilot to get out. And then that additional armor which folds over the top of it. So looking pretty good. And now it's time to get that armor plate on. So here it is all completely armored up, and I think this looks so hefty. I'm not sure if I prefer the look of this to the Gundam, so I'll probably strip this back down to the standard Gundam once the video is shot. But, I mean, it's pretty cool. It's quite clever as well. There's a lot of articulation that remains in this. You know, the legs and everything still articulate. You're not losing out there. But as you move things around, you can feel there are other pieces moving with those legs. You are moving more weight. There's more complexity. And even in the construction of this, putting the armor on, I did something to the shoulder joint. So it's now really loose. You can see the other one is much more solid. As it should be. So something has gone wrong here, and but the beauty of these kits is that because there's no glue, I can strip this assembly all the way back to its component parts, get the instruction manual out, and find out what has detached or what's gone wrong. And even if I had broken something in the process of putting this armor on or the exoskeleton, I just have to glue it and commit to it and maybe lose a little bit of articulation, but it's not the end of the world. Kind of a cool little armor piece here that exposes sort of the cockpit underneath, and little vents and things like this. So for where there's anything underneath, like propulsion units, you can open these vents to allow the exhaust fumes out. And the same applies to these leg ones as well. So you can get the main sort of leg thrusters there, allow those to vent. It's just really clever. I love it. And you can even get into the Gatling gun in the arm still there. Hopefully you can see that. Or you can have that just pushed right over to completely protect the arm. This, all in all, has been a great building experience. It's beautifully made. It was a lot of fun putting it together. And while it's a big Gundam, it's not necessarily a difficult build. I do enjoy sort of this additional scale. It gives you a little bit more flexibility. You can see lots of tiny little components like the magazine in the rifle or the articulation within the shield that maybe aren't as easy to do in a 1/144 scale kit. Now this makes me think I'd love to see one of those 160 scale kits, but I think those come in a suitcase and are several €100. So maybe that'll be one for the distant future. But with this big old master grade, Japan July is all wrapped up, and I've had a lot of fun looking at these different types of kits. And maybe I'll come back to Japanese model kits in the future. I love the look of that Sony PlayStation, Sega Saturn, or maybe I'll just go all in and get myself one of those perfect grades. Who knows? On the next episode, I'm coming back from my vacation away from all things Games Workshop. I'm going all in all month, starting with the Warhammer 40,000 kit, the Interdiction Battle Force for Space Marines. And that is going to start a series of episodes where I look at out-of-print Warhammer Games Workshop kits. Things like Blood of the Phoenix, Feast of Bones, Kill Team Rogue Trader. I've been dying to get my hands on that for a long time. And I'll have the Craft World's Vanguard detachment in there and maybe a few surprises too. I can't wait. That's all coming up from the next episode on. Until then, take care and bye-bye.